Alright everybody, so in this video we're going to be going over basic support and resistance levels. Now before we can actually go about learning how to actually place these levels, we have to learn about actually what they are and how they function. So pretty much, I'm going to grab a horizontal line here, right? So I'm just going to place it here, right? Support is simply going to be your floor, right? And then resistance is going to be the roof. It's a fairly simple concept. So it's like when you throw a ball, right? Let's say we were standing somewhere up here, right? Let's say this guy threw a ball down to this level of support. Again, support being the floor, right? So this ball is going to travel. Once it hits this level of support, this ball is most likely going to bounce until it comes back down and probably comes back to this level again. So this ideology is very similar when it comes to trading, right? So again, support would be your floor, right? So whenever price is going to come down to support, typically that's because price is going in a bearish direction and it's going to come down and test that level of support. Now resistance is quite the opposite. Resistance is going to be your roof. So again, let's use the ball ideology, if that's what you want to call it. Again, if you throw a ball right at the roof, once it hits the roof, it's pretty much going to stop and almost look like it comes right back down to where you are, right? So again, resistance would be your roof. Now, there's multiple levels of support and resistance you could use, but if we look at here on the daily time frame, so you can see right here, there is a level of support. Price came down, found support. As you can see, there's also resistance here, right? It came down to this previous level of resistance, which then turned into a level of support. What did price do when it hit this level? It rejected, went back up, came back down, tested it again, went up, but met resistance. So what happened? It hit the roof, came back down, hit the roof again, and most likely we're going to see continuation back down. Right, so when it comes to basic support and resistance levels, you want to think of these levels not a specific price, but more or less a zone, right? So as you can see here we have a previous level of resistance. If price breaks resistance, you want to see later on if that level of resistance will hold as a level of support. And you know, throughout the history of the market, typically that's what it's going to do. So price, as you can see, came back to this previous level of resistance. Buyers held this as a level of support twice, as you can see, and then there's a bullish run. So whenever price comes to support, you want to be very cautious for a rejection and look for some form of a reversal signal, right? Some form of a candlestick pattern, you know, if it be a morning star, evening star, engulfing a variation pattern, right? But you want to think about overall support and resistance as a zone. Right, so there's three ways support and resistance can be tested. The first way is a touch, where price comes to your zone, touches it, and rejects. Right, you have your touch, you have your overlap, where price kind of goes over your zone, but then goes right back up. Then you have a gap, where price pretty much just gaps, doesn't really touch or overlap your level of support. And that's the same thing for resistance. So you have your touch, you have your overlap, and then last but not least, you have your gap. Again, this is a fairly simple concept. So in support and resistance, you have your touch, gap, and overlap, and your support and resistance levels, right, are considered to be: support is your floor, roof is the resistance. So a quick example, if you look up here, right, I'm going to put a horizontal line like right here, right? Notice how price one touched this level, came down, gapped it, came down, came back up, touched, and then rejected, right? So this would be resistance. Now if we look at it here, right, price came down, I would consider this to be a touch and a touch because price itself, the wick, touched that level of support. Little overlap here, but it closed right back above. Now, when we're talking about overall support and resistance, there's many things you have to be cautious for. let's say buyers break through this level of resistance. You want to see if sellers will bring the market back down to that level. And let's say there was a previous level of structure here, so you know this is a level of resistance, right? You want to see if buyers will maintain this level, and this gives you a trade opportunity. So if buyers do maintain that level, you could buy after your price action signal. Your stops can go under support, and you can look to target resistance, right? Because again, you know, you want to see if buyers or sellers will maintain that level. In this case, sellers maintain this level, right? So whenever a level of support is broken, you want to see if sellers will maintain that level as a level of resistance. Whenever resistance is broken, you want to see if buyers will bring it back down to see if that level will maintain as a level of support, right? So notice here how price found resistance, buyers broke through, didn't come back to that level immediately, but ended up coming back down, right? Buyers maintained so far this level of support, and that could have given you a trade setup there. Notice again, it happened, price went up. Now, if we look for this on a resistance, more or less, if you want to call it a standpoint, right here, notice how here we have resistance, we have a touch, we have an overlap here, because price closed right back under. Notice when buyers broke above this level, sellers brought price back down, buyers maintained this level. There's a price action signal right there. This signal right here, an engulfing candlestick pattern, right, or a morning star, whatever you want to call it, right, shows you that buyers maintain that level, and that will give you a nice buy opportunity, right? And again, price broke out to the upside. So now what I want you to do is go find 10 examples of a level of a support and resistance level, right? So again, keep in mind, support is your floor, resistance is the roof, right? Fairly simple concept, guys. So again, go onto the actual chart and practice, put in the work, look for 10 examples of a level of support, 10 examples of a level of resistance, and read what price did at that level, right? Notice here, right, buyers in this case broke through, came back down, and buyers held this level, right? Now let's say if sellers break under this level, we could look to see if sellers will maintain this as a level of newfound resistance and look for that continued move down, right? Support and resistance will give you trade opportunities. They will be able to give you trade setups, right? Just like right here, right? Notice how price rejected resistance here, right? So this gives me an opportunity to go short until support, right? So fairly simple concept. Again, this is on a daily time frame. The lower the time frame you'll see, the bigger the levels of support and resistance will look like. So I will talk to everybody in the next video.